Owen, good to have you on with us.
Thanks for having me, Alex. Nice to meet you.
Nice to talk to you. Nice to meet you. So break down your story. It is the top story now up on the Drudge Report. TSA now putting hands down Fliers pants. And we took a short clip of you talking about it, but then added a clip from another newscast admitting it, just in case people were in denial. Because 3 weeks ago, TSA announced they would touch genitals and breast. And then when there was backlash, TSA said, we're not touching genitals. And it's just this culture of lying. But give us your take overall on what the TSA is doing, and then tell us what happened to you.
Well, first of all, in general, I fly maybe 20 to 30 times a year. So I'm a frequent flyer. I do not carry any liquids. I don't even carry deodorant. I check all of that stuff. I go to a local market and buy, like, the trial sizes. I never ship by with anything at all. And I don't go through with any metal, no watches, no phone, nothing. So when I go through, I never beep. I haven't beeped in years. So, I know I fly. I don't want to get beat. So I flew 10 days ago into L.A. wearing the same clothes. I was wearing the same sweatpants. Now, I went through, it didn't beep, but he said, oh, your sweatpants a little baggy. We're going to pat you down. They did the regular tap, tap, barely touch you. Go ahead. This weekend, I fly up to San Francisco wearing the exact same outfit because I travel a lot, so I wear the same kind of clothes. So if I didn't have a problem then, I shouldn't have a problem now. And a guy comes up. They made me wait there for 10 minutes in the little box, which usually doesn't happen. They come in real quick. He says, oh, we're going to take you into a private room. And I said, for what? He's like, oh, we're going to have to pat you down. I'm like, well, they always pat me down. Just pat me down right here. He's like, oh, I'm going to have to go inside of your pants. I'm like, what? He's like, I have to, it's a new rule. It's a different kind of search. So I was like, well, what are my options? And he said, well, I can pat you down out here, or I could do it in a private room. He's like, you probably prefer a private room. And I looked at him like, there's no way I'm going anywhere. All my stuff's here. I travel with electrical equipment. I'm not packing up all my stuff at all. I'll do it right here. I'm not going anywhere. So he got down on his knees, and he started patting me down the regular way. Then he said, okay, now I'm going to stick my hand down your pants. And literally to his wrist, his hand went in my waistband, around my crotch, around my butt twice. Then he went on the outside pat down on front and back, and then he put his hand back down in front of my pants to, like, grab at my crotch, like the feel in between my legs.
Excuse me, the hand was inside on your crotch?
Yeah, I had not inside my underwear, but inside my pants.
Oh my God!
Like he was feeling the front of my thighs, and the whole time the guy's saying, "I'm sorry." I'm a fairly big guy. I'm overweight, and I'm like 6 foot tall, and he was like 5'4" maybe, and he had like the fear in him because I was just hot. And so he just, I'm so sorry, and I'm just thinking, what would happen if you took me in a room? Because he was already embarrassed to do it. Apparently, they just changed the rules, so he hasn't had weeks of time doing this or practicing or have his mind set on, hey, this is what I do. So he was embarrassed to do it and apologetic to do it. But at the same time, I'm like, wow, I'm going to have to start wearing like Speedos or something to go to the airport so they know that I'm not carrying anything. I don't know. I don't know how women are going to put up with it. I have no clue. My daughter's 3 years old, and I will not take her flying anywhere until she's at least 4 or 5. So if anything happens like that, she can explain to me what's going on or how she's feeling, because I see that kind of stuff happen with kids, and people are like, oh, bring your daughter. I'm like, I don't take my daughter anywhere that I can't drive because I'm not going to have someone else putting their hands on my child. Like, I don't even know. Like, I heard the clip earlier, and it enraged my heart. I don't know how someone can stand there and let their child scream and be violated by a stranger. Who knows what that's going to do to that child? It won't happen to my child. I can't imagine.
But if they can get away with this, Owen, they can get away with anything. I mean, clearly this is being done to train us and condition us to have the government in our business, the government putting their hands on our bodies. Are you aware of the fact that TSA, for at least 5-6 years, but now they're expanding it, has Viper teams is what they call them, and mobile vans and mobile body scanners, not just in federal and state courthouses, and that they're openly announcing they want to put them in malls, and just everywhere you go, there'll be federal goons outside their jurisdiction randomly searching us. Then, meanwhile, the southern border's wide open.
I heard about that, and I firmly believe it now because I think that this pat-down, this invasive pat-down, is just a step to scare people. So the normal pat-down didn't make people think, oh, well, I'll go through these X-ray machines and get radiation that I don't know anything about. I mean, when I go to the doctor, the dentist, People put metal plates on my chest to protect me from radiation. So you want me to go stand in a machine that x-rays me naked and keeps a copy of it? Oh, but the people will fight that. So what do? We grab their breasts, we grab their genitals, and everyone will say, oh, I'd rather have the machine. They can make millions of dollars off these machines. It's a scare tactic to get people to use those machines instead of being violated personally. And you're still being violated because I don't trust people. I don't trust you, Alex. I just met you 5 minutes ago. I'm not going to give you access to something of mine just to say, oh, you're going to take care of that. Who can trust anybody? So you trust that they're going to delete your picture of your breasts or your genitals, no matter who you are.
Who wants this job? I mean, you said this guy kept apologizing to you because he knows it's wrong. Even a big brother says it's right to have his hand down in your pants, on your underwear, on the front of your underwear. I mean, describe that. What did he do to your junk?
His hand was flat, and basically, like, the first one did the ring around, where he just ran his hand around my waist and around my hip. So just like if you put your hand on your thigh and you rubbed your thigh, hand flat, that's just what he did. Then when he went and put his hands in my butt, he put his hands in, and then he patted it. He patted my butt, like underneath my butt.
Like you were his wife.
Yes, like that, kind of like.
Hey, baby,
like that,
how you doing there?
Exactly. Two pats, and then when he went back in the front, he did the same thing. Like he patted in between my crotch, right around my area.
Let's be specific. You're saying he patted on your underwear, your testicles.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And I apologize to radio listeners. We don't normally get into these type of things, but we have to talk about it when the government...
I don't even want to say it. That's how embarrassing it is. Because even when I was on Leo's show, when I said, I was like, Leo was like, he freaked out. I was like, you touched your private? I was like, yes. And I don't, who wants to even say it? Let alone have it done to you.
What do you think about your story now being the top link on Drudge Report?
Well, at least people know about it, so I'm happy about that.
By the way, it's now come out on Gizmodo today through a FOIA request that the 35,000 images at one federal courthouse in Florida, they released hundreds of them, and it shows that they were saving them. They were making jokes about it. They've been caught in England saving them as well. So they have now been caught red-handed doing this, and they also have all of these major scientific bodies, including groups in the federal government, saying that there is a danger of radiation in these scanners. And then Janet Napolitano comes out and says, this is not invasive, the pat-downs, when it clearly is. B, there's no danger from the radiation. C, we're not saving the images and the machines can't save the images. When we have the owner's manual, I wrote about this a year and a half ago at prisonplanet.com, where they admit they save the images. I mean, this is insane. And now they've announced they want to start saving the scan to use it as biometrics to identify, just like they can scan your retina or your face or your thumb, to scan your whole body. That's a market watch.
I'll never go through one of those machines. If they ever want to pat me down, I'll have them do it in public. Because, again, when other people see what's going on, and if somebody gets a little too frisky, then they're obligated to calm down because people are in the view. If he wanted to take me in a back room, why would they even give me that option? If you're not doing anything wrong, why not do it out here? Why say, do you want to go in a private room? Why do I need to go in a private room? We about to make love? We got cigarettes and candles back there? There's no reason for you to do that. And again, it's a scare tactic because once you go in that room, I'm in a tiny little box. And I start feeling nervous about what's going on when I got 2 or 3 men looking at me while another guy's touching me. It's a scare tactic to sell these machines. And then, Lord knows, like you said, with all that information, what are they going to do with the machine? And radiation. I can't believe that somebody would say, oh, there's no radiation. How long have the machines been out? Oh, did they do a 20-year study?
Well, let's expand on that. You and I and many others, months ago, I'd said on air, clearly they're going to enhance pat-downs to intimidate you to make you use the machines. Then the TSA admittedly told Atlantic Monthly and other major publications in the last 2 weeks that, oh, we're not worried about the enhanced pat-downs because nobody's going to go for them. This is meant to make you go through the machine. So they admit this has nothing to do with terrorism. Just what you said, they're trying to intimidate you to go through the machines. And then it turns out Alphonse D'Amato, the former senator, a lobbyist, and Chertoff, the former head of Homeland Security, Chertoff 2.5 years ago made the first order for several $billions of the machines. Then he leaves office and goes and becomes the CEO of the company. And he consults for the other company. I mean, that's illegal. He makes the order for the machines, then he goes and gets the job as the head of the company. Is that not a payoff?
It has to be. It has to be. The funny thing that kills me about whenever someone brings up terrorism at airports, I say no one in the government cares about terrorism at airports. Okay, I fly all the time. LAX, one of the biggest airports in the world. You know what stops you from running onto the tarmac and throwing up a grenade or a bomb or an automatic weapon and shooting down a plane when it goes to land or takes off? A chain link fence. And they've got, 30 cop cars and squad cars checking underneath your car for bombs because, a terrorist is going to put a bomb underneath his car and drive into the airport because if they wanted to stop it, they would have protection all around the airport. There's no protection.
Well, Owen, it came out last week on ABC News that illegal aliens can walk right in and rent aircraft for training, and the TSA gives them waivers and no security background check. Anybody who had a truck bomb could just drive into the cargo area with no checkpoints and drive right up to the fence and blow it up. Absolutely. They are training the public when you pull up in front of the airport and when you go into the airport to be a slave, to be searched, to be checked, to have your genitals groped, to have your hind end grabbed, to have your wife's breast grabbed, to have your children grabbed. For police state America. That's all this is dog training.
Well, somebody's going to have to get an electronic leash on because that's what they want us to do. I mean, again, if it was all about terrorism, there's so many things that this country could do besides fighting wars in other countries to build up our own defenses here at home. I don't care about the rest of the world. I care about home. And apparently, you don't have enough guards on duty to protect us at home. That tells me that you don't care about terrorism. It's just like the war on drugs. You say something, everybody claps, and then they put their head down and forget about it. Well, this airplane stuff, there's going to be women that have been sexually molested, have been violated in their lives, that are going to freak out if another woman or someone tries to put their hands on them because it's very invasive. Like, again, I'm sitting there as a grown man thinking, well, what happens if I get excited? This guy's grabbing off all my stuff. What am I supposed to do? I mean, whose job is it that they think that they could just do that and it'd be okay? I mean, from a week ago, they train you in a week and say, okay, now you're going to start lifting up genitals and grabbing butts and putting your hands in people's pants 30, 40, 100, 2,000 times a day. And who says okay to that? What kind of person are you? That's what you want to do. You want to touch children. You want to touch old women or men. Or look at naked pictures of people that you have no idea who they are all day.
I see this as a historical revolt, though, because there was already simmering anger over the TSA and the humiliation and the slave training, but now that they're trying to intensify it and more people are going public, the mainstream media is going from making fun of people that criticize it to Time Magazine headline, "Everybody hates the TSA." The Chicago Tribune, "Government in your pants." Forbes Magazine, "Abolish the TSA." I mean, this is a complete rout of these people. And Big Sis is like, okay, we won't search the pilots. Okay, we won't search kids. But I guarantee you in a few months, she's going to come back and try to put it back in place because bullies want to dominate. They want to set that precedent.
Well, I'm just waiting for all of these mainstream media pundits and people that get paid to say what they're supposed to say, the monkeys in the media, to get searched. I want an anchor man or anchor woman to go through on one of their business trips and have someone put their hand down their pants or feel them up and then see how they feel. And then see how comfortable they feel reading some crap from a teleprompter to the American public. Because until it happens to you, it's easy to say, oh, it's not a big deal. It's about our security. Well, if they wanted security, I'd see gun turns all around the airport. That would make me feel secure. Not a dog and a van with a mirror looking underneath my car when I go to the airport. They don't care about your security. They care about these machines and making this money. And in the airport, as soon as they get you accustomed to it, they are going to put them in schools. Because so many kids shoot kids at school. And it happens, and it's terrible, and it's bad, but that's not a terroristic plague on my country.
Look, they're teaching you that you are the enemy. That's what this is all about.
Yeah, we're the problem, even though they can't protect us in our own country and state. But we're the problem.
Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.